Inspiring interviews with today's top landlords. This is the Rental Income Podcast. And now, Dan Lane.
Brady, you wanted to buy rentals for a long time. What was holding you back?
Yeah, Dan, I just didn't quite have the money and thought it would take forever to save a down payment of 20%. So I decided to jump into the BRRRR strategy.
On the podcast today, Brady is going to walk us through how he's been building out his rental portfolio. We'll see if he's really doing this without any of his own money and how much money he's making with the BRRRR strategy. Joining us on the podcast today from Indiana is Brady Myers. We'll take a really quick break. We'll thank our sponsors. We'll come right back and we'll jump into the interview. The first step in buying a rental property is to get pre-qualified. And I would suggest you work with a lender that specializes in working with investors, because the last thing you want to have happen is to get to closing and find out the money's not there and you can't close. The lender that I recommend is Chaley Ridge from Ridge Lending Group. She's a nationwide lender, and she'll pre-qualify you for free if you mention Rental Income Podcast. Find out more today. Contact Chaley at ridgelendinggroup.com. That's RIDGE lendinggroup.com. NMLS 42056. Being a landlord just became a lot easier thanks to Tenant Cloud. They have everything you need to manage your rental properties all in one place, from taking online applications to creating custom leases specific to your state and collecting rent online. And this is really cool. They actually have local contractors in your area to help you when you have a repair call. That's right, contractors in your area that are there for you when you need them. Everything is right there, all in one place. How much does it cost? Well, this is crazy. It's totally free to sign up. It's not a trial. It's free forever. They do have some paid plans, but it's totally free to sign up and get started. Just go to tenantcloud.com. That's tenantcloud, C-L-O-U-D, tenantcloud.com. Brady, so talk to me about the money with the BRRRR strategy. So you said you didn't have any money, but I'm assuming that you found someone that you could borrow money from. Is that how you kind of bought your first property?
Yeah. So I'll just kind of go over the BRRRR strategy and how that works. You use private money, or you could use hard money, whatever you want. But you first would buy the property, and you would ideally buy it all cash. And if the property needs work, or you want to remodel it to force the appreciation, you would do the first R, that's remodel. And when the remodel's done, you'd move on to the second R, that's rent, and get a renter in there so it's an income producing asset. And then you can take that to your banker and show them that it's making money, and then you would move on to your third R, refinance, because you've shown them that it's making money. And once you refinance it, hopefully you've gotten all your cash out, and you can take that original investment that you bought the house with and repeat. That's the fourth R, and repeat the process as many times as you want.
Now, getting that initial money, the initial cash that you used to buy your first property, how did you get that? Like, were you using some kind of a local hard money lender, or was this someone that you already knew and had a relationship with that was going to lend you the money?
Yeah, so it was somebody I already knew, kind of a lifelong relationship. They knew that I was passionate about real estate and really wanted to get into investing. I talked about it for years before even asking about them investing. So they knew I was passionate, and it was just a matter of asking, and they provided the cash and guaranteed the loan. So
I guess like the thing that's hard for people, I think, to wrap their heads around is that you didn't necessarily have any experience doing real estate, but you had that relationship with that person that gave you the money. So they trusted you because they knew you as a person, and they knew that you were going to perform like you said you were going to perform. Is that right?
Yeah, a lot of it is just all about relationships, really. I mean, I think relationships go a lot further than experience. I mean, obviously, experience does a lot, but when you're just starting out, it's those relationships that really matter.
Did you literally have no money at all? Like, did the person lend you the money to buy the house and then to fix it up? So you literally had no money at all in the property?
Yeah, literally none of my own money to do everything. Yeah, I started with zero money.
No, let me ask you this, and I don't want this to come across as negative because I love the BRRRR strategy and I think it's great what you've done and I want to get into it. But I feel like there's some risk there when you have a rental property and you don't have some cash reserves. So, like when you get a property and you get a renter in there, if you don't have any cash reserves, you need everything to go 100% perfect. Like if you have a longer
Right.
vacancy or maybe you have some more repairs. So like how did you have money for that, or did the person give you some extra money, or did you know that they were going to be there to help you out if you got in a tight spot?
Yeah, so I mean, it is risky. I didn't have any cash reserves to start. So yeah, that was risky in that stance, but I did, they did have my back if something were to happen. So that was nice.
Okay.
But I mean, my first rental property was pretty low risk. It was a Section 8 property, so it's not like the renters really were going to bail on rent. And if they did, I'd still get most of the rent.
Right. Okay. So Section 8, it's a government program where the government is guaranteeing or actually paying the rent every month. So did you have any kind of construction background, or did you know anything about how to rehab a house before you did your first deal?
I mean, I took wood shop in high school.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, my dad's pretty handy. Yeah, so we've always done some kind of like handiwork together, and actually, right after buying the first rental property that I just talked about, we also did a flip together. So yeah, we've got some experience.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's kind of walk through this, like just to understand exactly how you did it. So, like, how did you find that first property?
Yeah, just on the MLS. It was sitting on the MLS for a long time. So that kind of made me feel like I could go in with a low ball offer and, get it at a good discount.
Was it a foreclosure or like a bank owned property, or was it a regular seller?
It was just a regular seller. I mean, it was already a Section 8 property. And so it was just an older landlord, kind of tired, I guess, of what he was doing. So, yeah,
Okay.
He was just selling it.
And so, how did you figure out what you were going to need to do to rehab the property? Like, how do you know like what to do and what not to do? Like with your very first deal, like maybe you could walk me through how you decided everything.
Well, it was already rented and it was Section 8. So, Section 8 does inspections every year to make sure the property's okay. If there's anything that needs to be done, they tell the landlord. So I knew it was kept up pretty well. And it was remodeled in 2009. So it wasn't like it was old and run down. I mean, it was okay. I mean, obviously it's not the best, nicest property ever, but it was good enough to just buy and have. I didn't even do any remodeling actually on this one. And I still think of it as a BRRRR, but without the remodel part.
Okay, so how did that work? So you used your hard money to buy the property, and then you went to the bank and refied and got the money back?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, we could either jump into the deal or,
yeah, like maybe just talk to me how that, like, why did you do it that way versus just going to the bank and getting a mortgage?
Well, when you go to the bank to get a mortgage, the way I see it, they want a down payment.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do the down payment, your money's going to be stuck
in the
for at least a while in the property, I would think. I've actually never bought property that way. I've never done a down payment. So I guess I don't have a lot of experience with that. But from what I know of the BRRRR strategy, if you buy all cash and then go to the bank, you're more likely to get 100% of your cash back out.
All right, so let's walk through this a little bit. So what did you pay for the property?
I paid $65,000 for the property.
Okay, so 65,000 using your private investor, and then you went to the bank to refi. What did did the bank then do an appraisal and it appraised for more?
Yes. Yep. So the appraisal is required when you're doing the refi. The appraisal came back in at $117,500.
And that was without you doing any work or maybe just doing a little bit of work?
I mean, I literally did nothing. I mean, I think I put a stainless steel fridge and that's it. Yeah, that's all I did.
So then you refied, and then because that equity was created, and it doesn't sound like you did much to create the equity, that you just bought a property for way under market value.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it's a 4-bed, 2-bath property. So something like that in this town, I mean, market value today, I mean, I would assume it'd be $200,000.
Right.
But when I bought it, it was only listed for 89 and I got it for 65.
Wow. And then what is that property rented out for?
That property is rented out for $1,254 per month.
Okay.
And Section 8 pays most of it.
What's your mortgage payment on that property?
$373.
Wow. So that's a big spread. So you have no money in this property. And then how much are you actually profiting after any kind of maintenance that generally comes up?
Yeah, so I profit over $600 per month. I mean, give or take a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so $600 a month with no money at all in that deal.
That's right.
That's absolutely incredible.
From day one, $52,500 of equity, and then cash flowing $600 a month from day one. And it's also a free house in my eyes, at least.
Right. Totally.
Yeah.
Right, so you got that deal done, you got the refi done, and you got your investors' money back when you closed on the refi. And then what did you do after that?
So I was really stoked after getting those results because it was my first deal. I had no idea really what to expect on that appraisal and stuff. I thought it would probably be below what I bought it for, but it was just about double what I bought it for. So I was pumped. So I immediately just started looking for more deals.
Okay. And then what did you end up finding?
Yeah, so my second rental was a 3-bed, 1-bath. They were asking $90K, and I bought it for $102,000 because they had multiple offers on it.
Okay.
They were, some of the offers were like $130K and stuff like that.
Okay, so you got it for 102, and then did you have to do a rehab on this property?
I did a light remodel. Yeah, I just did some light fixtures, replaced a hot water heater, did a little bit of flooring and paint. That was it.
You know what I'm loving about your story so far is it's not like you're doing a major rehab on these properties. Like, so have you ever had to do a major rehab on any of your BRRRRs, or is it all kind of smaller stuff that you're doing?
So on my BRRRRs, my most recent one, I did a bigger remodel.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it, really crazy or anything, but I replaced a lot of stuff in that house. The flip I did was a major remodel. I mean, we had to end up like jacking up the floor and redoing some foundation and I mean everything on that. It was like a 1920s house, so it needed a lot.
So would you say the key is really just making sure you're getting a really good deal, buying the property way under market value? That's where a lot of the magic is coming in.
Oh yeah. You definitely make your money when you buy.
Right. Okay. So let's get back to that second deal. All right. So you bought the property, you did some minor stuff, and then you went to the bank. And were you able to get all the money out of that deal with the refi?
Yeah. So I was all in for $105,000 And the property rented for $1,450, and it appraised for $145,000. So right there, I've got $40,000 of equity. The taxes are lower on that property, so I actually am making $700, a little over $700.
Wow. So, and you've done 4 BRRRRs now?
That's right. Yep.
Do you think that there's any reason why you wouldn't just be able to keep doing this, like to find similar properties that, need maybe a little bit of work and just keep recycling this money? Like, do you see any reason why you wouldn't keep doing this?
No, I mean, I'm addicted to it.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, it's crazy. I never thought that this was even a thing, obviously, until I found out about it. It's like, it's crazy. It's awesome.
Have you run into any trouble with the banks with like getting the refi or maybe not being able to get out all the money?
Yeah, on my third property, I did overpay on that one, and so I wasn't able to get the full amount back out, but I did get most of it back out. So there's been times where I've bought a property, got a renter in there a week later, and refied within the same month or 2.
Now, what about management? Are you managing these properties yourself?
Yeah, so I was. I was in the beginning, and just about a month ago, I switched over to property management.
Why'd you switch?
I just really am not interested in that side of the business. I don't like dealing with tenants. I don't like hearing their stories. I don't like it. I don't like any of that stuff. I mean, it's awesome when it works out, but I've had a little more of it not working out than working out.
Right. So you had some difficult tenants, it sounds like. Yep.
I've had all sorts of stories, people not being able to pay, blaming coronavirus and stuff like that. Which, I mean, could be valid, but it actually wasn't affecting them personally and stuff like that. So,
was it hard to find a good property manager?
Not really. It was just a matter of pursuing it. I talked to several property managers in the area, and I kind of negotiated with all of them. And I also got referred to one company in particular. So I ended up going with that company and got a really good deal.
Okay, awesome. Now, let's circle back real quick to the work. So when you're doing a rehab, are you doing the work all yourself or do you use contractors?
Yeah, so in the beginning, I would do a little more myself. I mean, obviously stuff like electrical and stuff like that, I don't do. I don't do plumbing or electrical, but yeah, I mean, now that I'm a little further along, I do hire out more. Like on this more recent one, I hired out painting, I hired out flooring, I hired out electric, plumbing. So yeah, I mean, as time goes by, I'm starting to do less and less of the work actually myself. But I do like doing the work.
Okay. And then for your lender, how do you pay your private lender?
Yeah, so they just get an above market interest rate.
Okay.
On the money and until they get the full amount back. So if money is left in the deal, then they would be getting paid on that money.
Do you pay them so you pay them at the end when the deal's done? Like you're not paying them monthly while you're fixing up the property? No, I do pay monthly. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. So you have a fixed interest rate that you pay them every single month until the refi happens, and then you're just paying the bank after that? That's right. Yep. Congratulations, Brady. It's really incredible to see what you've done. My biggest takeaway from Brady's story is that he got really good at finding below market deals. And I think that is really the key to making this work. You've got to find smoking deals on a property. You can't be buying a property at market value or just a little bit below. You've got to find a really good deal with at least 25, 30% equity built in for it to work. But Brady has gotten really good at that. And congratulations. Keep up the great work. I'd like to thank today's sponsors for making this episode possible. I'd like to thank Chaley Ridge from Ridge Lending Group. If you're looking to buy a rental property, whether you're just getting started or you want to add to your portfolio, The lender that I recommend is Chaley Ridge. She's a nationwide lender, and she specializes in helping investors buy rental properties. She has a ton of different loan programs, and she can find something customized to you for your situation. If you want to find out more or set up a time to talk to Chaley, just go to ridgelendinggroup.com. That's RIDGE, lendinggroup.com. If you mention Rental Income Podcast, she will waive all the pre-qualification fees. NMLS 42056. I'd also like to thank Tenant Cloud for making today's episode possible. If you're looking to bring your rental business online, Tenant Cloud has online applications, online leases that are customized for your state. They have contractors that you can get online. You can do online tenant screening. Basically, everything that you would ever need if you want to manage your property online, you can do it all at tenantcloud.com. You can get started today for free. Just go to Tenant Cloud. That's Tenant, CLOUD.com, tenantcloud.com. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast today. Make sure you subscribe. We have new interviews every single Tuesday. My name is Dan Lane, and this has been the Rental Income Podcast.